All right, on these ones, a lot of people want to go, okay, my points of interest are going to be 7/3 and -2 right off the bat. But if you look, we can't use the zero product property because that guy's not 0. So that won't work. So what I need to do is I need to subtract 2 to both sides. So you get 3x minus 7 over x plus 2 minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Now I can use the zero product property, but the problem is right here, this negative sign is making it so I can't use the zero product property because zero product property only works with things that are getting multiplied together. And if with the negative there, we can't use it. So we need to get rid of that negative, and the way we do that is we need to get a common denominator and put them together. So if I multiply the top and bottom, so this is over 1, we know that. If I multiply this by x plus 2 on the bottom, that'll give me a common denominator here, but I can't just do it to one, I got to do it to both. So you end up getting 3x minus 7 minus 2x minus 4. Now remember, you need to take that negative to both those guys, and it's all over the same common denominator, which is less than or equal to 0. You combine like terms, 3x minus 2x is just x. And then -7 minus 4 is minus 11 over x plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Now, there's a problem here. We don't have an 11. So we're going to make an 11. Now, using my zero product property, I know my points of interest are what make the top 0 or the bottom 0. So point of interest is 11 and -2. Now, 11 is going to be closed. And the reason it's closed is because of this less than or equal to sign. If this bottom line wasn't here, this would be open. Now, the -2, no matter what, is always open because it's what makes the bottom 0. And we can't have anything make the bottom 0. So it ends up being kind of an extraneous solution. Now, let's check points. So I am going to check -3. So if I put a -3 in here, we get -3 minus 11, which gives you -14. -3 minus 2, which is -1. A negative divided by negative is going to be positive, and a positive is not less than a 0. So that would be positive less than 0. That is not a true statement, so this stuff does not work. So we want to check something in between here, and I'm going to check the easiest guy. He's 0. So if I check that guy right there, you end up getting -11 over 0 plus 2, which is just 2. Negative over a positive. Now, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just setting x equal to that thing I've chosen. So 0 minus 11 is 11. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative over a positive is going to be negative, and a negative is less than 0. So yes, this stuff works. So I'm going to shade this stuff right here. And for my last one, I'm going to pick something above 11. So let's pick, I don't know, 12. So 12 minus 11 is going to be 1, and 12 plus 2 is 14. 1 over 14 is positive, and that is not less than 0. So this does not work. So my answer is pretty much everything in between here. So how I would write my answer will be like this. Set notation. All x's such that x is in between -2 and 11. So how I write that is between -2 and 11. Once again, notice that the x is in between the -2 and the 11. Also, notice that there is no line here because he's open. The line here is because he's closed. And in interval notation, it's going to be -2, not including, to 11. The 11 is going to be closed. And so your answer is going to be either this guy or this guy, depending on whether you like interval or set notation better.